Hi, everybody. Welcome back to that Eurovision site. As you can see, we are continuing on with our Melodifestivalen 2023 discussions. If you've not seen it, the first video was us discussing about the first two heats that are coming up. This time, we're going to talk about the final two heats that are taking place in Lidköping and Malmö. So let's get on with it. So we are continuing on our Melodifestivalen 2023. Oh my god, I don't know if I pronounced that. Yes, Dan, I got Dan's approval. I pronounced 2023 correctly. And the artists competing in the third heat in Lidköping are
Marcus and Martinez with Air, Melanie Webe with For the Show, Ida Lova with Låt hela stan se på, Paul Ray with Royals, Nordman with Släpp alla sorger, Laurel with Sober, and Casanovas with Så kommer känslorna tillbaka.
Okay, Dominic, what do you think of this lineup?
It's very tricky to predict. We have a lot of, we have one duo like Marcus and Martinez. They have been rumored for years. They have been huge in the past. I have no idea how big they are at the moment, but I think they are always someone to look at. Also with their spot number 7, always a good spot. We have Nordman coming back. They went to the final in 2008, I think, and I loved their song back then. We have Melanie, who is stepping from songwriter to the artist, and I'm very curious to see that. Also with Laura, she's also making a debut as an artist, as a singer this year. And yeah, Paul Ray, he's always delivered. Yeah, I think it's a semifinal with everything is possible. We have a lot of good art. Well, of course, they're all good artists, but yeah, very difficult to predict. Everything is possible. I think if you want a prediction from me right now, I think we have Marcus Martinez winning the first round, going direct to the final. And if the Casanovas have like this typical Swedish party dansband song kind of feeling, they could surprise. For now, I would say Paul Ray is also going to the final in the second round, and then Casanovas and Laurel going to second chance. I have no idea. It's probably wrong, but
what are your thoughts on this one, Dan?
I think from the way that SVT has arranged this, it is to be as free as possible for Marcus and Martinez to go to the final. I think the big problem here is that they may have been a little late. I think Marcus and Martinez should have entered in maybe 3 years ago, but it all depends on the song. They're fresh in people's memory again from recently winning Masked Singer Sweden, and I think they will. I think they should have a pretty easy time just winning the first round of the voting. The second round is where it gets interesting. We have Nordman, who has had iconic songs in Melfest, such as I Lågornas sken from 2008, which people still love and remember. Paul Ray is now with a up-tempo pop song, if I'm not wrong, I think he said. Casanovas are going to have Dansband, which has historically done really well in recent times, usually going direct to finalen. And Laurel, of course, has written some of the finalists in recent years for Melfest. So anything really is possible. I think the second final spot will be taken by Paul Ray, and I think the semifinalists will be Nordman, and Casanovas. Casanovas, I think, will get the top 3 with the 3 oldest age groups, and possibly even with the youngest age group, because those age groups usually really love that kind of music usually. I think, unfortunately, Laurel could be a bit left behind in all of the age groups and not quite make it to the top 4. And Nordman, I think, would probably come 3rd.
Ooh, okay, so I agree with you on the first part of the voting. I think this is if you don't notice that, it is made for Marcus and Martinez to directly qualify and make it as easy for them as possible, because I think that from the looks of it, they've been trying to get to them for like so long, and the fact that they got to them, they have to make it as easy as possible for them to make it to the final. So I think that's a given. Yeah, like you said, the second part of the voting is where it gets tricky, because some of these are like, they're veterans, they're known in Melo, and they're also known for like music that have been known for generations. So whether or not that translates accordingly to app votes is another story. And this makes my job difficult. I will give it to you. I think Paul Ray will get the second spot. Norman, a semi-final spot, just because I don't know if that will translate to enough votes. And then the final spot, mission mashing between Melanie and Laurel, just because I see that they're fairly new in the Swedish music, from what I've seen on social media anyways. I know Laurel's entry Habit has just like appeared in radio frequently a bit, and I know that Melanie just released her debut EP, and a lot of promotion put out to that, so I think it's between them two, but personally for me, Laurel. But I know I can be proven wrong by these cases. But in any circumstance, or we will then move on to the final heats, which will take place on the 25th of February in Malmö. The competing entries are
Signe och Hjördis with Edelweiss, Axel Schillström with Gorgeous, Emil Henron with Mera Mera Mera, Mariette with One Day, Smash Into Pieces with 6 Feet Under, Loreen with Tattoo, and Kiana with Where Did You Go?
ooh, like like they said, start big and then also end much bigger. Thoughts on this, Dan? Like, what do you think of because I think they literally pulled out all the stops for the last one, I think, from what I can see. Like, they really went all out just to like create some chaos and drama. Why not?
Yeah, they've got two really iconic Melfest participants in Mariette and Loreen. Loreen, obviously winner and of the entire thing, and Mariette has made it to the final now, 4 times. Yeah, 4 times. We have Axel Schillström, who entered in 2017, same year and the same semi-final as Loreen when she was in it with Statements. We have Emil Henron, who I don't really know much about, but if I'm not wrong, he's really big on TikTok.
Really big.
And we have Kiana, Smash Into Pieces, and Signe and Hjördis, who I don't know much about, but the debutants, especially in semi-final 4, are usually really dangerous. But once again, this is like semi-final 3. This is made for Loreen to just win the first round. If she doesn't win the first round, I will be so surprised. But I think she will be. I think she's come with something that is her style still, but I think it's going to be, because it's got Thomas Gesson, it's got Peter Boström, it's going to be enough a familiarity that the Swedish people will think, right, this is what we want from Loreen. right to the final. The big question is who is going to be the other three, and this is really tough. But I think it will be Mariette's 5th time going straight to the final. I think she will very barely win the voting of the points. Axel Schydström 3rd, because he's got a great voice. He's singing English compared to Swedish in 2017. And yeah, I think he's come back to do well in the contest. Emil Henron could go based on popularity alone. I don't know how he sings. I don't know what song this is going to be, but I think it could be a fun party song. So I think he will make it as well. Yeah, that's my 4.
How about you, Dominic?
Yeah, I think I mostly agree with everything Dan said. I would be very surprised if Loreen is not winning the first round. Also with Cassiopeia being one of the songwriters. I just love that. So yeah, I think, yeah, it's all set for her to go to the final. Very surprised if not. With the other finalists, I have like 3 acts I think could do potentially very well. This, of course, Loreen, Mariette, and I also think Smash Into Pieces could do very well. I think I see them performing in huge arenas in Europe and North America. I think also partly as warm-up band for like huge acts, but also like getting to know like a huge audience and everything. They have like a mixed songwriter like from the band and also some known Memphis songwriters. So I imagine something like rock popish maybe. That could be like potential. I like the songs. I'm not so into rock, but if it's like rock with some pop vibes, I could get very into that. So I think these 3, Loreen winning the first round, and then second finalist will be Mariette or Smash Into Pieces. And I think Axel will be the 4th act that will probably go to the semifinal.
I mean, yeah, I agree with everyone. Also pointing out Kazi, the fact that in the short amount of time that Kazi went to Melo, made it through to the final comfortably from the semifinal, won American Song Contest, like literally a few weeks later, and now we are gonna have, you know, a potential like Melodifestivalen 2023 winning. It would not surprise me that Tattoo by Lorraine will win the first round of votes. Another thing is Mariette, not surprising that she will get the second spots. Just because that would be for my shocker later on if she just doesn't get it. I'd say this is where it gets tricky because you get some of the artists on here like from the Heat one and here Kiana who have been in reality shows that you know, obviously public voting has happened, so they're may be familiar with viewers. It's whether or not they'll remember them enough that it translates to votes in Melo, because it might have been like a few years or so now per se, but who knows. I'd say for the semifinals, I'd say Smash Into Pieces and Axel Hillström, but it would not surprise me that Emil just creeps up on there just because of TikTok popularity. And we all know how sometimes once you go viral on TikTok, and the fact that Eurovision was a partner of TikTok with TikTok during Turin, and you know, it helped propel Rosalind into like stardom. It would not surprise me that, you know, if he somehow sneaks in somehow. But anywho, in any case, as with the last video, I'm gonna ask you two, what's like a shocking result would you expect from each of these heats?
I think a shocking result could be that Marcus and Martinus just don't have the song that is needed to make the final. They could go to the semifinal, and that would be a huge upset, but it wouldn't be the most surprising thing in the world. because once again, they're not as big as they used to be. And if the song isn't there, then I don't know. The name's not everything, and that we learned that with Loreen in 2017. And for semi-final 4 or deltävling 4, I think the biggest upset would be Mariette coming 4th in the voting. There's no way she doesn't make it out, but it could be that she just barely makes it to the semi-final. That's my prediction.
How about you, Dominic?
I'm sorry to butcher his name probably again, but we have Dino Medan-Hodzic, probably totally wrong.
Oh, that was correct.
Oh, thank you. We have him as a songwriter for 2 songs. We have it for Tone and for Paul Ray. And if I'm not mistaken, he made it to the final with every single song he entered. I would be surprised if this changes with Tone or Paul not making it to the final. Yeah, very surprised with that. For Heat 3 and for Heat 4. Oh, Jesus. It's difficult to say what might upset me because I'm so confident in what I think. But I'm probably with them if Mariette's not going anywhere, will be very surprising. And I'm thinking back about the time when Loreen didn't make it to the final. They still had this dual version in Second Chance in the semifinal now. And now they have like the top 4 make it to the final. So there's no way she's not making it to the final. She will be there.
They have
We'll get
Loreen
tickets now.
proof the semifinal.
Oh my God! As like Karen would not make the same mistake as
Nah.
Krister did. She will make sure of that. For me, I don't know if my bias is showing, but or not. For me, I'd say one of the Swedish songs taking the. I'd say it more of a surprise rather than the upsets. So Casanova or Nordman potentially getting one of the final spots.
What is about Ida Lova? Also Swedish song?
Oh yeah, or Ida Lova. So, because I think that's another thing I think I've seen throughout this conversation. I don't think we've talked about the Swedish songs enough. So I think maybe one of them sailing through like either semi or the final itself. So that's for Heat 3. Heat 4. Oh, this makes it very difficult. Axel Hillström crashing out, which is a very much of a possibility. Like, as Dan said, you never know anymore with it's not just names at the end of the day. Like we said that with Loreen in 2017 and look what the hell happened. So for that one, I'd say Axel maybe crashing out because Emil is good on social media as well. So especially with TikTok, like I've mentioned earlier on. I also wanted to ask before we go, Dan, you mentioned in between takes about the betting odds and how they're looking right now. Do you think that because obviously we know that odds can be right or wrong. Do you think with what we know right now, do you think they're predicting it correctly, or do you think?
I think I'll go through the top 5, and these are odds on Eurovision World, which has combined some of the biggest betting sites. And
Sorry,
also
what's yeah, I was just say so it's on Eurovision World, and it's this is at the time recording, so which is about roughly 8 p.m. Central European time on the 23rd of January. Just so we put that as a disclosure.
Yeah. So the top 5 is, and this is probability to win, not final position. With 5th, it's Marcus and Martinez. With 4th, it's Kiana. With 3rd, it's Jon Henrik Fjällgren, Ark North, and Adam Woods. 2nd place, it's Maria Serva, Never Give Up. And in 1st, it's Loreen. I mean, obviously, this is without knowing the odds, or without knowing the songs, but I don't know if Maria Sur is a bit high on these odds. It reminds me of Angelino in 2022. He was extremely high, and I mean I loved that song, but it didn't even make it out at the semifinal. So it's very hard to say. I think the juries will love Lorene's song. She's got a very jury-friendly sound, I think, and in a way that it's not conventional, but it's something I think the juries would appreciate. International juries, great voice, everything that I think this year is made for her to win. It's not just because it's Loreen, it just feels like it. I think the runner-up would be Jon Henrik Fjällgren, Ark North, and Adam Woods. And I don't know. It's really hard to predict with nothing but the names. But
it's all for the fun and games.
We haven't talked about Kiana in the fourth semifinal, and she's fourth with the odds. Is she like popular in Sweden, or? I mean, she's opening the semifinal, and her song is called "Where Did You Go?" I assume it's not a ballad because I don't think they will open it with a ballad. But
it's also written by, I think it's because it's also written by Joy and Linnea Deb and Jimmy Joker Turnfeld. It is very, like, it's very big names when it comes to this. You know, it's
basically Kiana was on basically Sweden's Got Talent. So I think that the name is just like, I think there's that familiarity with viewers. I think that's why she's there and just like trying to push her out there. I think she was very close. She made it to like the final, but I forgot.
Second place.
Yeah, second place. There you go. So she was very close. So I think they're trying to put her as like a redemption era where she was just very close to winning.
I think something that could be, I think something that's worth mentioning is that she is only 15 years old. She turns 16 in 2 days. And it's a lot of pressure for someone that young to go in front of 3 million people to perform. And well, it's, I'm you know, Malou Pritch also turned like 16 right before the final in 2019, but it's a lot of pressure. I would be surprised if she were to finish even top 5 in the final, but anything is possible. Anything is possible.
I feel so old now. She's 15.
You're telling me.
2008. 2008. Oh, 7. Oh, that's better.
Oh, that makes it so much better.
Yeah, no, we're old. We're Jamie Lee Curtis old. Like when she freaking finds like, I'm old. Okay. So one final thing. I know this is like very off there. Who will take it in the end?
Loreen.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah.
You have a few favorites in there.
I don't want to. Yeah, it's probably Loreen. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, it's Loreen probably. Oh, Jon Henrik. I'm not too sure, but it's probably Loreen.
I have two. Personally, I'd say I want Loreen because that's just the Euro fan in me talking. The reason why I'm talking here right now is Loreen. So there you go. But I would not be surprised if Jon Henrik finally gets his moment because everyone is so tired. It's like, please just let him have it. But
I will say if it's who I want to win, it's definitely Jon Henrik Fjällgren. And having listened to Ark North's music as well, like I think the combination will be the EDM Kano that Sweden needs to send. Like we have sent like a Loreen I would love to see again, but she has already won Eurovision. Like let's give someone else a chance. And Jon Henrik Fjällgren definitely deserves Eurovision.
He would have won in 2015 with the song back then in any other year probably, or like most other years. Yeah. 2015 was a brilliant song.
No, but then with Jon Henrik, like I think 2019 was his best year because he was actually singing. Like I don't know if we'll see him singing in this one. We don't know, and we'll find out next week. But I'm very excited for that. But in any case, thank you so much. if you don't already know, Dominik is from ESC Extra. And where can we follow you, Dom?
Everywhere at EC Extra, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, ecextra.com, YouTube. Yeah, everywhere.
Yeah. And Dan is from Melodifestivalen Klubben, OGA Sweden. And do you want to take this opportunity to promote what is happening during the Melodifestivalen final?
Yes. So if you are in Stockholm during the final of Melfest, we are hosting the Melfest weekend pre-party, which is the first pre-party of the season. And it will be held on the 10th. And you can find out more on melodifestivalklubben.se or on Melfest Weekend on Twitter.
Mhm.
Tickets are on
And
sale.
yes, tickets are on
Yes,
sale.
tickets are on sale.
And if you are a member of OGAE, please contact your local groups because there are special prices for OGAE members.
Yes,
But
thank you.
in any case, I'd like to thank Dominik and Dan for their time. If you don't already, please give this video a like, a thumbs up, and push the notification bell to be one of the first ones to find out when we have a video. But for now,
Wait. Another reason to buy tickets. We will be there.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Come to Stockholm.
Oh my god, yeah. But finally we get there in the end because our Zoom is about to run out. Anyways, hey though, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye. Bye.